Motherfucker. Hey guys, my name is Ashley Day and this is the story of my psycho ex-friend. So, I guess we'll just get right into it. My sophomore year of high school, I transferred schools to a school that was like a half hour away from where I lived. So on the first day of school, I had absolutely no friends. And then I took this class called Humanities. It was basically mixing English and history. It was in this huge classroom full of like 50 kids, and it was taught by 2 teachers. Right away, it's these tables of 2 to 3 seats. Everyone is paired up, and I'm by myself, the only person sitting at a table by themselves. So eventually, a girl, we'll call her Angela, comes up to me. She's like, "Hey, can I sit with you?" She had left her group of friends and like asked to sit with me. And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'm alone." And so we started talking, and she eventually introduced me to her group of friends, and then like we had to alphabetize ourselves by our first names. So I was sat by this other girl in the group. We'll call her Edna, I guess. And so we were talking, we were hitting it off. Eventually, throughout the time in this class, I was brought into this group of friends. I even suggested we start a Facebook group chat, and we did that for a while, which was really cool. I was invited in to this group of girls. I will say it was weird for me, because at my old school, I had 2 best friends, and that was it, or I hung out with guys primarily. So we started doing the whole group chat thing. Sophomore year, I didn't really hang out with any of them outside of school. Things were fine. It was all good. Then junior year comes along, and I actually started hanging out with them, outside of school. This one girl, who is the psycho ex-friend, we'll call her Nora. So, Nora, she's kind of the leader of the group. She wanted us all to get together on Halloween because that was a big, exciting thing for her. It was big and exciting for me too. I really wanted to do it. And we were going to go to this park that was nearby that had this place that was supposedly haunted. We had gotten a half day the day before Halloween, and I was just going to stay at her house that Thursday night, that Friday night, and then go home on Saturday. We were really good friends at the time. We talked a lot. We could just spend time alone together and just share secrets and stuff like that. We were really, really good friends, which I often forget that we were really good friends because everything that happened after we stopped being friends and why we stopped being friends kind of just throws that all whole good friendship away. And I had never been to this place that we were going the next night. Nora thought "Oh my gosh, Ashley, you have to see this. This place is really cool, especially in the fall." So we called our friend Callie. So she came over and we all walked to this place. And so then Nora wanted to show me led to the beach because it's right by Lake Michigan. We walked down there. It was starting to get dark and it was starting to get really cold. So Nora complained that she was cold. So up right by where this path led out to the beach, there were some people that looked to be around our age that were building a fire. So Kelly and I were like, "Hey, Nora, let's go up here and ask them if we can sit by their fire." And she was like, "No, don't really want to do that. Let's just keep walking." And so she went far ahead of us, and Kelly and I were just kind of staying behind "Okay, whatever, let's just let her do her thing." And then a little bit up the beach, there were these 2 older guys. One guy looked to be in his 40s, and the other guy looked to be in his 30s. They were well older than us. We were all 16. She goes up to these 2 guys, and Kelly and I look at each other and are like, we should probably go get her. So we go up to her. She sits down. She's giving them a fake name. I don't know what to do in situations like that because I don't go up and talk to strangers, especially not ones that give me bad vibes and creep me the fuck out. So I gave him my real name. I think I accidentally said Callie's real name. So I fucked that up, and Nora yelled at me about that later. No joke. Nora accepted beer from them, and I guess I'm a dumbass because I drank some too. Bad. Don't do it. I don't condone it. I'm sorry. I fucked up. Fucked up as a teenager a lot. I don't know how it came up, but I think Nora mentioned that I could sing. I guess so I sang for them, and they both just kind of latched on to me. Callie was smart and was like, "Oh yeah, my boyfriend knows we're here and he's this and that," which was really good, except her boyfriend in reality was in another state. So that didn't really actually help us out much, but it did make it look like we had people waiting for us. And the younger of the 2 older guys was like, "Oh, you," referring to me, "reminded me of Ellen Page. I thought she was so hot." or I'm really attracted to her. And I was like, okay guys, let's go. And then we finally left. So we were walking away, like hauling ass out of there because we were all freaked out. And so once we get closer to this path, we see 2 flashlights following us. Who else was on the beach at that time? Us and those 2 creepy guys. There was no one else. So who had to be following us? Those 2 creepy guys. So we started booking it. And I have really bad asthma. I'm really out of shape. I don't run. Whereas Callie was in soccer and Nora was in track. So they were both like way ahead of me. Callie came back for me. Nora got pissed off. So then, when we finally were all caught up to each other, we got out, we got onto the main road, but it was still like dead because it was 8 o'clock, so it was dark out. As we were walking on this main road, there was a truck that seemed to be following us. We all like got that vibe, and so like, okay, let's turn down one of these side roads. We did, and what do you fucking know? The truck turns too. And so we quickly turned back around onto the main road, and we saw the truck turn around, and we held hands and ran, and we like hauled ass back to Nora's house because her house was closest. And so when we got there, I had a full-blown panic attack, bawling my eyes out. Like Callie was hugging me, and she's not a really touchy-feely person, so it was bad. And like I've gone through some serious stuff in my life that like led up to that just like that brought me back to that really bad place when other stuff that were kind of similar happened. So I was like, honesty time, let's just let it all out for these 2 of my friends. They need to understand why the fuck I'm like reacting this way when they're all like, okay, that sucked, but we're good. So I told them. So everything was fine. So the next night, we got everything ready for that night at Nora's house, and then we walked over to Callie's house, because that's where we were going to be staying that night with some more of our friends. I will say, Nora had been in a relationship for about a year-ish at this point, and she would tell us how she was flirting with and wanted to like do stuff with this guy on the side, and they would just like talk and do their thing. And she didn't like, if you consider flirting, especially to the extent that she was cheating, then she was cheating on her boyfriend, and that kind of like that upset all of us. We just never said anything to her because she was like the leader of the group, and we all kind of feared her to a degree, and was talking through it with like 3 other people who were in that group. One of them being her best friend, saying that everyone was afraid of her. Yeah, everyone was afraid of her. So no one said anything. We just kind of were like, okay, you do you. And so she invited him to Callie's house. Callie was pissed, and then Nora ended up going off alone with him. And we all got really pissed, especially because we were walking. We ended up going to Nora's boyfriend's house because he was driving us to this place. Like, I'm sorry. I don't want to be mean. I want to go through this whole video without sounding like a bitch. While I can't forgive her for the things she's done to me, I'm not going to stoop to her level, but how dumb do you have to be to take the guy you are, like, intending to cheat with to your boyfriend's house? The fuck is wrong with you? I'm sorry. Just a little heated. So, we got to her boyfriend's house. At this point, this guy that she is, like, cheating on him with is just like, yeah, I should probably go. And we're all like, yeah, you think? And so he goes. We get to this place, and as we're walking in, I start losing it. I'm having another full-blown panic attack. Like, I don't want to go in there. I don't want to do this. I want to go home. Like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And so Callie stayed behind with me. Nora was staring daggers at me, and her best friend in this group, Edna, she also starts losing it for a completely different reason, but she was panicking also. Nora's boyfriend also, like, came over to us and calmed us down, while Nora and, like, the rest of the group went in, like, to the waves and stuff and had a good old time. Edna, Callie, me, and Nora's boyfriend, we'll call him Steve, hung back with us. We ended up leaving. Like, at that point, I was, like, still panicking, and I was like, okay, let's just tell the whole group everything, and so I did. Later, I ended up finding out from Nora's boyfriend, Steve, that he told her about what had happened the night before Halloween, and completely spun it to where I was the one who went up to the older guys. I was flirting with them, and that I was the one who like caused all those problems. And then she also went on to say that my story was complete bullshit and I was lying, which kind of fucked me up a little bit, because she also like spread it to a few people, but saying that I was lying. So not only was she saying some really personal things about me, but she was saying that I was lying about them. Anyway, back to this part in the story. The next day, we were all like in the group message, and Nora was really pissed at me and Edna, and she kept saying like, oh, like saying stuff about how like we ruined the night for her and like we were just really inconsiderate of her. And I was like, Nora, I'm sorry, I was just having a rough time, like I feel bad, it'll be better next year, I'm sorry. So she accepted it. I don't think Edna really apologized. Nora was just so nasty to her about it, and that just like really got to me, because Edna's one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my entire life. It just blew my mind. There were some more things that kept happening, like just little things that would get to me between me and Nora. And there's a lot of like passive-aggressive posts going back and forth onto Facebook. And not the most mature thing, but we were juniors in high school. What do you expect? We're dumb, petty, bullshitty creatures. Like the second or third time it happened, I was just kind of like, I'm done with this. I'm over it. I'm over being belittled. I'm over being treated like I don't matter. I'm over being bitched at and like ridiculed by someone who's supposed to be a good friend of mine. I kind of realized when I was gonna stop being her friend that I was going to lose all of my other friends, because they were my only friends coming in. I really didn't build any other like strong friendships besides them, and I knew that everyone was gonna side with her. So I removed myself from the group chat, which like made everyone go crazy. So then Nora messaged me and she like asked me if I was okay, and I was just like, yep, I'm fine. I'm just done being your friend. I'm done. So the next day in school, she confronted me.